Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Devin Sears, and I'm joined by my friend and colleague, Alani, and we are talking about customizing your WordPress site without coding. We've heard from a lot of our customers that sometimes building a website can be a little bit daunting, especially if you have to use coding. So today, we're going to jump in and talk about how you can customize your WordPress site without getting into any advanced coding or anything like that. But before we do that, just as a by way of introduction, we're joined by Alani. He's one of our senior software engineers. He's currently working on our onboarding with our AI product. So we're super excited to have him here. A lot of experience, so it should be a good time. And as usual, I am our senior field marketing manager, and I will actually be off screen answering questions as we go through today's webinar. So if you have anything, please don't hesitate to ask any questions. And that brings us to a few housekeeping items before we jump into everything. One, if you can hear us, find the chat box and tell us where you're tuning in from. That lets us know that our audio is transmitting. That lets us know that you found the chat box. And we also love hearing where our audience is joining us from. Also, if you have a question, you can ask it in the chat. You can also move it to the Q&A tab. If you ask a question in Q&A, that allows us to have a little bit of a back and forth, a threaded response in that specific Q&A tab. If you ask a question in chat, I might answer it in there, or I might move it over to the Q&A tab. So if your question disappears from chat, just double check to see if I've maybe relocated to the Q&A tab. A few other things. If you're joining from a mobile device, I believe you need to click somewhere on the screen to unmute the stream. That should help with hearing us, because if you don't unmute it, you won't be able to hear us. If you have any issues, please don't hesitate to tell me in the chat, and I will do my best to troubleshoot the issue with you. If you are still having an issue, the best thing to do is probably just to leave the webinar and rejoin. That resolves most of the issues. One other thing I want to call out, if you want any help with your website, this webinar should be very engaging, should be very educational. But if you're looking for a little bit more help, at the top of the chat, there is a link where you can click to get additional help with your WordPress website with some of our WordPress experts. So that's our housekeeping. So today we're talking about non-coding and great websites. So today's quote is, "Big ideas don't need big code, just bold clicks." And when WordPress started, you needed to have a little bit of a background in coding. Now the WordPress platform has been updated in such a way that you just need to have a vision, and you can use blocks to bring some of that vision to life. And Alani is going to share with us exactly how to do that today. So Alani, please take it away.
Thank you, Devin. Hey, everyone. My name is Alani. I'm a software engineer here at Bluehost. I work on building products and tools that help streamline the experience of our users with WordPress. So funny story, actually, I got into development and engineering through WordPress, through building websites without knowing how to code about 8 years ago. And then, back then we didn't have the same tools we have today. So I found myself having to code here and there. And then, little bit by little bit, there's no turning back. So here's where we're at. So today we'll be talking about customizing your current website. If you have a current website and you want to find out how you can customize its content, layout, or styles, we'll cover that today. We'll also be talking about creating and customizing a new website and finding the right tools to create a new website or customize an existing one. We'll also be talking about creating and customizing a new website with Bluehost AI. And also, we'll go over like publishing that website that you create. And at the end, we'll leave some time for some Q&A. So chapter 1, customizing an existing website. So if you have an existing website and, like I said, you're trying to customize the content of the layout, styles, fonts, colors, whatever the case is that you're trying to customize, first you need to identify the tools the website is built with. Now, when we talk about WordPress, the power of WordPress is it could be built in many different ways. You can use many different tools together or separately to build a website or customize a website. But that also comes, all these tools are different. They have different interfaces, different, options, different limitations and capabilities. So first we need to identify the tools your website built with. and we need to get familiar with the tool that that the website is built with. We need to learn it a little bit, find some resources to help us in order for us to be able to edit the website. Also, if we happen to not be able to find the tool, or the website happened to be like custom coded by a developer from the past that you work with, and there's no tools to edit it, we will go through some tools that you can add to your website to add some sort of a visual styling elements to your website that can help you style your website all visually without having to code. So the first item is identifying the tools the website is built with. So there's a few ways we can achieve that. We can do that by inspecting the content of your WordPress, so the posts, the pages. We can go and inspect the content and try to look for certain things, look for certain flags that can help us identify the tools the website is built with. We can also check a list of active plugins or the active theme, and then through we can check against a list of like usual suspects, like, oh, this tool usually means the website is built with this tool if you find it as installed and active, or this theme. And then you can take that and do a little bit more research and learn more about it. So for the first item, to inspect the content of the website in order to identify the tool the content is built with, one easy way is you can literally go to your dashboard, to your WordPress dashboard, and go to the pages or posts, and you can see like a tag of the tool that it's built with, and we'll have a visual example of that in just a second. So here I have a WordPress website, and I go to the dashboard and I go to pages. And on this website, I have 4 pages. I have home, services, contact, and about. And if we look at item 1 and item 2, the about page and the home page, they are both built with a tool called Elementor. It's a visual page builder. What that tells me immediately is like, hey, in order for me to customize this page, I have to use Elementor to customize it. So that's a cue for me right there. However, contact and services, they don't have that flag, or they don't have that Elementor element. So that means we need to do a little bit more digging to find out what's happening with it. But it's for sure not built with Elementor. So here I clicked on edit the homepage, and as you can see, it's blank. But in reality, if you go visit your homepage, you'll probably find some content on it, especially if you received the website from a previous designer or an agency that you worked with. You click edit page, and then it's blank. But if you notice on top, there's this little button that says edit with Elementor. That means, hey, this page is locked, and you can only edit it through the Elementor interface. Now, going to the services page, and if we remember on that list, the services page was not built with Elementor. It looks like the content is right there, and you can just hover over it and just change the content. And that indicates to me that it's built with WordPress, just native page builder. So WordPress does have a page builder that it's, they call the block editor, but also you can use page builders like Elementor and other tools. And later down the line, we'll talk about the difference between them. Another way is to check the active theme. Let's say, for example, you went to the pages to inspected the content. You didn't really, it's like Elementor. It's not so, obvious where it has a tag. You can go and check the theme and see which theme is active by going to the dashboard, to the themes, and check the active theme. And then you can take the theme name and do a little Google search or YouTube search and try to find how people are using this theme, and just like the documentation on how to use it and how to customize it. There's also, we could check the active plugins. So from the WordPress dashboard, we can go to the plugins, installed plugins, and then you can look in the plugin list or the active plugin list for a list of plugins that like page builders, stylers, content builders that can help you identify the tool that the website is built with. Usually, we call the usual suspects. It's typically Elementor, Beaver Builder, Divi, or WP Bakery. They'll probably account for like 80% of the websites that I see, like built with, or just like used to build the website with. And so yeah, you'll probably look for these page builders, even themes. Like you sometimes install a theme, but the theme would use one of these tools to build this content. Now let's say we have identified the tool, let's say it's Elementor, Divi, Beaver Builder, what's next? So next, you technically should consult the documentation of the official documentation page of Elementor, Divi, Beaver Builder. Just they usually have a pretty good outline on how to use a tool on an existing website or new website, so you can go in and customize your content safely. If you are a visual learner like me, you can go to YouTube and then you would just put like, oh, Elementor tutorial, Beaver Builder, Divi tutorial, and then there's tons of content out there from really good content creators that break down everything on how to customize and edit your website. If you're in-person learner, social groups and meetups. So if you just put probably on Facebook or you just Google that, or just on meetup.com, you'll be surprised how many local meetups around, like the communities around Divi, communities around Beaver Builder, Elementor, or just WordPress in general, that you can, give them a visit, and they're all free and typically, and you just go give them a visit and just chat with like brilliant people that can help out. Now let's say the other route is like, hey, if the website is custom built, custom coded, or it's built by an old theme or built by a tool that does not allow further customization, at least through an interface, there's one extra route we can take to avoid having to code. And that's basically what we call visual CSS customizer tools or visual styling tools. And so it's basically plugins that you can install on your WordPress website, and it can add a builder or page builder or an interface to the website. If you're an administrator, of course, logged in as administrator, that will allow you to customize and style the layout and content of your website. So basically, they add a visual styling interface. The good thing about them, they are compatible with all themes, all page builders, so it doesn't matter what you have, whether it's customizable or not. You can still install and use these tools to customize your website. And they can also be added on a custom coded website. So even if you have a custom coded website, you can install these tools and they can kind of override and add that visual interface that you can use. It's one of these like modern WordPress things, like probably in the last 4 or 5 years. And yeah. Now, there's one drawback with them is you cannot edit the content of the website. Meaning, so for example, in that screenshot that we have, this tool called CSS Hero, it would add a left sidebar on your website when you're logged in as an admin in like an editing mode, that you can change the fonts, colors, typography, layout. But if you want to change the title content, where say live a healthy life, learn from experts, we cannot change the content of that because the content is typically protected by the code, whether the code is generated by a page builder, theme, or by the original developer that made it. And these tools just, if you change the content, it might break the website, but they allow you to safely change the style. So you can change the colors, fonts, and so on and so forth. And they're pretty powerful as well with layouts and stuff. They can also help you, like let's say you have a website that's a little bit older and it's not mobile responsive. Technically, when you're making a website that's not mobile responsive to a mobile responsive or tablet responsive, you don't need to change the content. The content is the source of truth. It stays the same, but you need to change the layout. So they actually allow you to change the layout on mobile tablet without breaking the website, and just add that support. So it's really nice, to have. And somewhat popular plugins or visual styling plugins, CSS Hero, Micro Themer, and Yellow Pencil. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. Some of them have a combination where they call it like freemium. So it's a free version, trial version, or something like that, but certain features are locked behind a paywall. Okay, so chapter 2. So now creating and customizing a new website. In WordPress nowadays, there's multiple ways to create new websites. So we can use page builder plugins. We can use themes and starter templates. We can also, if you're with Bluehost, you can use Bluehost AI site creator. So we have a few different options, and we'll talk about each option and benefits and drawbacks. So the first item is page builders. So we kind of touched base a little bit about the page builders earlier. Like you can have a website built with some of these page builders, but Page builders, it's plugins that can add to your website, and you can build the content of the website visually. Now, they're extremely customizable, so you can customize everything about the website that you created. Like you can even have a different website for mobile, tablet, and desktop, or even different screen sizes. They're very powerful, and they're also very extendable. A lot of them have been doing it for a few years, and they became industry standard to the point where other plugin developers like WooCommerce, like booking plugins, contact form plugins have made deep integration with these tools. So you just drag in a contact form plugin and you can style it with these page builders because they're so popular. Now the drawbacks or the cons about it is just basically it's a learning curve. So they have a lot of options. The interface you have to get familiar with. So if you spend like sometimes a week, maybe less than a week, you'll get pretty good at it. But it's just that learning curve and finding the way to the tool and the good resource to learn it. And also cost. They're not all free. Like some of them have a free version or trial version, but some of them, the professional version or the full version is kind of locked behind a paywall. So sometimes even you use a free version, you want to use a specific widget, but you find out this widget is only in their premium version of the plugin. So that's one of the drawbacks. So it's an additional cost on top of your website. Some of the popular page builders, Elementor, Beaver Builder, Divi, Bricks, and Breakdance. So those last two are a little bit newer. I think they're probably more toward the intermediate or advanced user, but they're very capable. All these tools that you see here are very capable, very popular. The other route is you can use themes and starter templates. So themes are basically you install a theme, it's a package, and it has a bunch of starter templates, or basically a theme can offer 50 different variations of its layout. And then you can click on a variation and it will be added, or your website will look exactly like that variation. It will just import it. They're basically known as like demos or templates. Now, the nice thing about themes, a lot of them, especially the popular ones, they have a wide variety of really high quality templates. These themes are developed by professionals, by talented designers, and for many different industries, many different fields. They are also extendable. The same story with page builders. A lot of them have been doing it for a long time. And there's a lot of integration with the WordPress ecosystem and the WordPress tools. Some of the drawbacks, the assembly can be a little bit tough. So meaning sometimes you have to download the theme from the developer and you upload it to the website. And then sometimes you have to get the template that you like. You have to download it from the developer's repository and upload it to your website. But some of them are easy. Some of them you just install the plugin or the theme, and then you literally one-click import. So it depends on the tool. But again, assembly historically been known to be a little bit on the tougher side. A bigger con here, or a bigger problem actually with it, is it's generic demo content. You've probably seen it before. You get this beautiful theme, beautiful layout, and then when you install it on your website, it will just have like generic content that does not relate to your website, or sometimes it's like the lorem ipsum, just like gibberish. Because these themes are not built for the content, it's built more for the layout, so they allow you to change its content. But that can be, a little bit time consuming. Or sometimes you can forget about specific section after you publish the website and someone tell you, hey, there's this section on your website that has just this, text that I can't read. What is that? So it can be like a little bit embarrassing moment. I've definitely seen that in the past. Some of the popular themes are Astra, Ocean WP, Bloxy, Generate Press, and Avada. And again, they have, I would say all of them are what they call general use themes, so they can be used for a lot of different industries. But some of them are free, some of them are paid, some of them have a mix of the two versions, free and professional. Now the third option is Bluehost AI. So Bluehost AI is a AI site creator that you can just basically describe your site to it or your ideal site to it, and then AI will go on and create a few different options for you that you can pick from and customize. So with that, it could be time saving because there's really no setup. You just log into your Bluehost website or Bluehost account and to the WordPress site, and then just if it's a new site, it will prompt you, hey, what do you want to create today? And then you just tell it and basically it will create the website for you. It's effortless, so we don't use any third-party plugins or themes or anything like that. So you don't have to do any configurations. Everything is just ready to go. And again, no extra tools are needed. It's not built with like page builders or it's just using the WordPress native block editor or native editor. So it's just the same experience of WordPress. There's no overhead or anything. A problem, or let's say a drawback, is basically the content, the text, sometimes the images are written by AI or created by AI based on the description that you gave it. So if you give it a clear enough description, the content can be pretty good. But if the description was vague, it only knows so much about you. So you might have to do further customization to the content after the website is created for you, or basically the options are created for you. And we'll go over that in a second too. And here's just like a comparison table between the three options. So the comparison table has the tool, page builder, the themes and templates, and then the Bluehost AI, and also it has like a difficulty, flexibility, and time consumption scale. So red being bad, orange being, let's say, moderate, and then green being good. So on the difficulty scale, page builders are, out of the three options, are the more difficult or the most difficult, but they're not that hard. Like, I'm not saying that you have to code or you have to it's just visual tool that you have to learn. Just like you have to learn sometimes an application on your phone and how to use it. It's the same thing. Starter templates are a little bit easier, but again, they have that part where you have to import a demo or upload the theme. That can be challenging sometimes depending on the tool. And then the Bluehost AI is a lot more streamlined. So on this scale, I would say it has the upper hand a little bit. Flexibility. So we talked about page builders. They're extremely extendable. You can customize everything about the website. And yeah, so you could change every little bit and piece to your liking. It's more it can even be used by professionals as well. Starter themes, they can also be very flexible. You can change a lot of them, but also that depends on the tool. Sometimes I've seen themes where they have specific sections that are locked, just with the template or the design of the theme, especially if you have a blog page. You can edit the content of the blog, but you can't change the layout of the blog of the website. That's because that's what the theme has. With Bluehost AI, I'd say it's a similar story. It's kind of a mix between. You can still change a lot of the layout and the content, just like a page editor, thanks to the WordPress block editor or native editor. But also there's few things that are kind of protected because we want to make it as easy as possible. So it's a mix of both. Time consumption, page builders, I would say, because you have full control over everything, and sometimes they literally throw you in with a blank slate. So you want to create a services page, and you're just looking at a blank slate, and you have to, build the sections of the website piece by piece. So it can be time consuming depending on what you're trying to build. It could take, a few hours to a few weeks to build a website. With themes, it's a little bit faster. So sometimes it's very fast, but the part that can get you with time is when you're writing that demo content, that lorem ipsum, or let's say it's a different industry that the demo has, or the initial template that you imported. So it will take you time to write the content and edit and modify the content. With Bluehost AI, that's a little bit better because the content sometimes, especially if the prompt is good or the description that you gave it is good, the content can be written, accurately or accurate enough, or at least publishable sometimes in some scenarios, right? Publishable, where you can just publish as is, or do moderate, only a section or two of the homepage or the website in general, to make it more in line with what you want. Okay. And then the third chapter, which is creating and customizing a website with the Bluehost AI site creator. Now, the Bluehost AI site builder or site creator is only available on new websites. I'm not saying new accounts, not new. So if you have an existing Bluehost account, you can absolutely use the Bluehost AI creator. However, it has to be used on a new website. So you have to create a new website. The reason we can't implement it on an existing website, because it will need to scrap whatever is on the existing website and start over. because if we do that on the existing website, it will break the existing or the current website. There's just no way around it. We don't know what's in it. We don't know how it's built. So that's the challenge. So it will, you can always experiment with it and see if it generates a good website enough that you can replace your current website or add it as a second website. So that's basically the idea here. So you have to create it, or you have to use it on a new website, on an existing one, but not a new Bluehost account. If you're an existing customer, you can use it on any plan. So the first thing you need to do, you just obviously log into your Bluehost account, and then you would want to create a website, but the website has to be of WordPress instance, not like we have another way where you can create websites where, or say, other environments. So you want to create a website like with another tool other than WordPress, but for this one is only WordPress supported. And then once the website is created, you would just log in on that button. Usually you will see it on the website that was created where say WordPress admin, and this will take you to WordPress. The first thing you are greeted with in WordPress, we call it the onboarding or the quick start, is this the first page. Basically, it asks you two questions. Hey, do you want to use the AI site creator, or would you like to import an existing website? Let's say it's hosted somewhere else, or just you have it developed locally, or the designer gave you the files for it. But in this case, we're going to use the AI site creator, which is the first option in that big box and that little blue icon that says AI. Can't miss it. Okay, so the first step, we call it the intake step, or just some information about the website or the ideal website that you're trying to build. So some information about the website title. Now, the website title will not impact the outcome, but it's just the title we're going to, put on the website. The language, you can build a website in many languages other than English, or even like English and more tailored toward like British English or Australian or something like that, or the locale, basically, that's what we call it. And then this description box is very important. So don't I'm not saying, hey, you have to describe everything about your business, because AI is smart enough to figure out a lot of things. But I would say describe to it the goals of your website, like who is your target audience, what pages you want on your website. If you don't want pages, AI can actually figure that out for you. So if you have like top level goals, you should definitely put it on there, but also some sort of description about your business or your brand, like, hey, here's what I do, here's my target audience, just so it can know more about you, to generate good enough content so you don't have to do more modifications later on. The next step, it will ask you for the logo, so you can upload your brand logo. Now it's optional, so if you don't have a logo, or you can also upload it later on. We'll show you. So that means it's just that's not the the end all be all. You can always upload logo later. And then AI will take about a minute and a half to start building 3 options for you, or a few options for you. And then in the meantime, it'll ask you what's your experience level. It has beginner, intermediate, or advanced. And if you pick any option, it will not impact the quality of the website that's generated. It'll all be the same. However, inside WordPress, after the website is published and when you're going to edit your content, based on the experience option that you selected, we'll recommend certain things. So for example, if you're a beginner, we'll try to guide you, or basically do like a more of a tour guide or something like that. If you're intermediate, it would be less of that. And if you're advanced, we'll completely get out of your way and just let you, do WordPress your way. And then after a minute, sometimes even less, AI will give us 3 options, or Bluehost AI will give us 3 options that are generated based on the description that we gave it. And then, so you can click on any option to expand it and preview it. Now, don't worry, clicking an option does not mean selecting an option. So we're going to click on it so we can preview it on a bigger screen or a bigger view, so we can actually see what we got. So now let's say I clicked on the 3rd option, and then it took me to this canvas screen, or a little bit bigger screen, that I can look at the website. And it has 3 things. So number 1, on the right side, it has the 3 different options that it generated for me. I can toggle between them. And on the left side, you have the bigger preview where you can scroll down and view the whole page. You can even interact with the page to a certain extent. and you can change, like I said, the toggle between the different options. And then on top, we have two options, publish and save, or save and publish, and select and customize. Save and publish. Let's say you're in a rush, you want to get this website live, you don't want to do further customization. The content is exactly what you were looking for or close enough. You can literally hit save and publish, and that's going to publish your website for you, exactly as is, as you're seeing it right there. If you want to select the or customize this option that I gave you, if you want to customize its colors, if you want to customize the content of it, or maybe certain parts of the layout or the font, you want to click on select and customize, which is option number 2. Okay, so after I click select and customize, it takes me to this page, and this is the WordPress native block editor page. But the difference here between this step and the one before it, I have a little bit more customization options. We call this the design studio. So on the number 1, on the right sidebar, I have few options, few top level options. I can change the logo, like I said. So if you want to upload a different file or you uploaded the wrong logo, you can definitely change it right there, and it'll change for you in that preview. And on the left side, we have the preview of the page, but it's not just a preview. I'll talk about that in just a second. And on the sidebar, I can change the colors and I can change the fonts or typography of the website. On the left side, number 2 right there, this is the interactive preview of the page that AI generated for me. I can change its content. I can change the structure of the content. I can do anything that the WordPress block editor or the WordPress native editor allow me to do in here. And we'll see a little bit of that in just a second. But yeah, so you want to change that heading or the hero title, you can just literally click on it and change its content. You can want to move a section above the other, you can do that as well. So this slide here talks about like the color option. So if you selected if you want to change the color of the website, you will have 8 color palettes. Now these 8 color palettes are not static. What I mean by that, they're actually AI generated. So when you tell us your website, the first thing we attempt to do is we attempt to what we call classify your website. So figure out which industry you're in, the target audience, and based on that, AI can do a little research to find a list of color palettes that are appropriate or the most appropriate for that industry based on competitor analysis and just market analysis. And then it gives you a list of 8 color palettes that you can cycle between, and you can see it changing right on the left preview. Now, if you have specific brand colors, there's this little toggle, item 2, that says pick custom colors. You can click on it, and it will literally allow you to change all the colors, or you basically build your own custom color palette, and you can see it changing on the preview. This slide is the font. So if you want to change the fonts, we have a list of 8 fonts, or actually 6 fonts. I'm sorry, 6 fonts. They're kind of AI generated to a point, but I found out like when we were building this, AI is not really good at generating fonts for some reason. Maybe we're doing it wrong, I don't know. But basically, so it's a list of, let's say, 6 fonts. Well, they're not just fonts, they're font pairs. So a heading is a title. Typically, websites have a font for the titles and a font for the text of the website. So you can cycle between them, and you can see it changing on the preview until you find a right color combination. And if you want to customize the content of the website, on the left preview, like I said, the content is interactive. You can literally hover on an element and you can change its content. You can replace the image. You can also change the structure or the layout using the WordPress editor. So there's no page builders, there's no themes. It's just, no extra tooling needed. And then let's say you've customized the colors, the font, changed the logo or not, and change the content to the point where like, well, this is good enough. I want to publish it. All you have to do, you would just hit save, and that will basically publish the website for you. And yeah, if you want to just like, hey, save the changes and not do anything, you can just hit the dashboard button, the one right next to it, and that'll just take you to the WordPress dashboard. So yeah, with that, just go to the recap. So we talked about customizing an existing website, the importance of identifying the tool the website is built with in order for us to learn how to use the tool and customize the website. We also talked about customizing a new website or creating and customizing a new website. We talked about the ways that are available for us to create a website, the tools, whether they're page builders, themes, or the Bluehost AI. And we also talked about a little bit comparison and picking the right tool for the job, whether you want something super customizable and you think you have the technical ability and time to do it. That would be page builders. Or you can do something with themes, which has a combination of both, or you can do Bluehost AI where it can handle a lot for you. We also talked about the Bluehost AI site creator a little bit in depth, how you can generate a website or generate the 3 options, cycle the options, choose the right one for you, and customizing that layout or that option that AI created for you. So yeah, with that, Devin, do we have any questions in the chat?
Awesome. First of all, thank you for walking us through that. I really appreciate that. And I can tell a lot of other people appreciate it as
Of course.
well. So we do have a few questions in here. Give me just 1 second to pull these up. The first question is just about building a website. Can I go back and change my choices from the AI site generator later?
Unfortunately, not as of this moment. It's something that we intend to do. So if you created a website and you chose a layout, we actually plan to do 2 things where you can regenerate or generate multiple options, more than 3. And then let's say you go to the design studio or when you're editing and you don't like it, you want to go back to a different option. That we don't have right now. But the way around it is you can go to the Bluehost account and create a new website. It's completely free to create a new website. And it's completely free to use the AI builder on a new website. So there's no cost to your plan or anything. So yeah, that's the workaround for right now, but it's something we intend to add down the line.
And I do know that once you generate the site using the AI site generator, you are able to customize it after it's been generated. So you don't I don't want people to think that once they've generated the site that's the site forever and they can't change anything. But to your point, you
Yes.
can't go back and change the prompt that you used to create it.
You can change the prompt and have AI generate 3, but everything in the website that is generated is customizable using the the WordPress block editor. So you can change then the layout. We also have something called Wonder Blocks. We didn't talk about much, but basically it's a library of templates. So you can inject, page templates and stuff like that and add more content to the website using Wonder Blocks and stuff. But yeah, everything to your point, Evan, is totally customizable. The headers, the footers, the page content. So that design studio, that's just the initial step to get you in your website and publish it. But down the line, you have full freedom of changing and updating the content and the styles of the website.
Perfect. Next question we have, what should I do if I want to change the layout after I've already published the site?
So again, you would just go to the page that you want to edit. Let's say it's a services page, the about page, the home page. You click edit page. You don't have to learn like a page builder or a theme. It's going to be is basically a drag and drop builder, the new WordPress block editor. And then you would just change it right there. You move sections around, you move, it's a drag and drop, right? So you move sections around and until you get it to the layout that you want.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but once you've generated the site, you also have access to the AI block library. So you can go into that library, the Wonder Blocks, and we have some other site layout templates that you can use, and you can drop in and say like, hey, I want it to look kind of like this, and just drop it in, and that will build half the page for you.
Exactly. The nice thing about the Wonder Blocks pattern, or it's basically a pattern of or a library of patterns, or so for example, you want to create a new services page, you can, that was that green button that says Wonder Blocks. You can't miss it. Once you're in the block editor with Bluehost, you'll see it. And then you can select a specific, you have like a bunch of service pages that you can select from. Or if you want a part of a page, you just want to add like a testimonial section on the homepage, you will just go to the sections part of Wonder blocks, and you can add that. So, and all the layouts, or sorry, the colors of the blocks inside the library matching your theme color or the colors that we created during the design studio. So they have your brand color already.
Mm.
They have, so you don't have to customize them after you import them. They're already pre-customizable to your fonts and to your colors. You just have to find the right one, import it, and maybe change its content to match what you want it to say.
That's super, super nice for sure. Okay, the next question. You talked about theme builders a decent amount. Someone asked if I start with a theme builder, can I switch it later or am I locked into that specific theme builder?
Yeah, unfortunately, you will be locked in. So if you use like Elementor, Divi, something like that, that content will only be customizable with Elementor Divi. And in fact, even if you remove or uninstall Elementor or Divi or whichever page builder, the content will be erased from your website. So that is a big drawback to page builders. But I understand why there's a lot of technical limitations. Now, I will say a lot of them, especially the more newer ones like Breakdance or Bricks, have gotten better at when you publish something with those tools, it will be published in a way where WordPress block editor can understand it because it's just as powerful. It just has different interface. So even if you remove the that specific page builder from your website, uninstall the plugin, the content will still be protected. Now, in terms of changing it and updating the layout and stuff, you might be, a little bit limited because it's within the, constraints of the WordPress block editor.
Okay, yeah. And I if I can plug our own AI site generator, I know that that is one of the things that we really focused on when we created it was making sure if you do use our site builder, you are not locked in. That does land you native into WordPress and you can use other things from there.
Yes. So basically, the websites that we create using the WordPress block editor. So technically, it's really there's no content lock. There's no extra tool. It's just using WordPress core code that can be any tool can understand it. Any tool can parse it and process it. Um, yeah.
Cool. The next question is, how do I update content or pages without breaking anything? And that is a pretty big and general and wide question. So I'll let you take it whatever direction you want.
Yeah. So, like I said, So when we talked about identifying the right tool is very important. So if you find, hey, the page builder is built with, or sorry, the page is built with Elementor or Divi or whatever this theme, it's very important that we learn how to use a tool to not break it. But you can always do a backup of your website. There's many backup plugins. I think we've even had webinars in the past where we talked about backup. So you take a backup before you make these changes. And if were something to go south, you can always go back and restore that backup. Bluehost also offer backup. So if you can contact support, they'll walk you through taking a backup of your website, meaning basically like a picture of your website, a clone of your website as of right now. And then if you make a few mistakes down the line, you can restore your website to that picture point from the point you captured it. So that's what a backup is. It's the safest way, but really it really depends on the tool, right? Like and how you're using it. If you're making a mistake as you're using it, it might break the website.
And obviously, if something does go sideways with your website, you can always reach out to support and we'll do our best to help you get back to where you were.
Of course, yeah.
But I will give the disclaimer that when you get into custom coding and customizations of your website, our support, sometimes we do have limitations because we don't want to be responsible for trying to fix your website and breaking it further. So just something to keep in mind. But I feel like for the most part, our support team is pretty good about getting in there, especially if you go to one of our WP Live or our pro service support teams. Okay, next question is, what if the AI generated layout doesn't match my vision? Can I tweak it?
Yeah. So you can, like I said, we in the design studio, you can literally use, change the layout, import different patterns. So it's just a typical website. There's nothing, special about it. It's just built with the the initial part of it is built with AI. So you can definitely change its content. You can definitely change its layout. You can, um, or if you completely want to start over, you can create a new WordPress instance on your Bluehost account and start over with a different prompt or a different description that can get you a little bit closer to what you want. Everything is customizable. AI will only give you a head start. That's about it. Nothing in that content is locked to its version that AI generated.
Awesome. Well, we still have a few more questions, but I do want to advance the slide just as we're talking about some of these support questions. I mentioned we do have professional services. You can get to that by clicking the sticky note in the chat that says click here. We also have other resources, bluehost.com/help. We have our YouTube channel where we have some tutorials and additional webinars. And we also obviously have our support phone number that you can call and get help. But a few more questions. The next question is, can I preview design changes before saving them live?
So that will depend on the tool. Most tools, they have some sort of a visual editor, like with page builders, themes. Themes not so much actually, because a lot of times they have like more of a panel interface like this. Oh, pick this header, but then you pick it and then it shows on. But it depends really on the tool. With the Bluehost AI, it's using the WordPress editor. So once you click edit page, that editor, that interface is basically you're editing the website before it's live. So you can, the moment you hit save or publish, then your changes are truly published. So yeah, with the Bluehost, once you click edit page, that interface, we call it WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. So you're seeing everything. You can customize it, and then you like it. You're like, okay, well, I'm ready to publish these changes or save them, make my audience see them. You can just hit publish, the big blue button on the top right side, and that will, save your changes and publish them.
Awesome. Perfect. A few more questions. Will using a theme builder affect how my site performs on mobile sites?
Definitely, yeah. So some of them, like it's a big problem historically with like page builders and themes. It's a term that we call bloat. So it generates a bloated code that can make your website slow to the point where Google and other search engines started to add metrics to the SEO, or like, hey, if your code is bloated, they won't send traffic to your website, or they won't mark it, on the search engine or something like that. So it became a metric. Now, in the past few years, all popular themes that we discussed today have gotten tremendously better at optimizing their generated code. So yeah, like there's many, especially with more modern ones like Bricks and Break, they're very good at generating good fast code on mobile and on tablet and desktop. With the Bluehost AI builder, it's actually using WordPress grammar, so it's as fast as possible. It's basically we don't do any like code on top of WordPress. It's just using native code that's as close as possible to native HTML or native WordPress code, that should not add performance dings to your website.
Awesome. Let's see. The
But I
next
will say
question.
there's more to performance. Sorry, there's more to performance than just the tool. There's like the quality of images that you upload. They have to be optimized in a certain way, caching and other strategies that can impact performance, not just the tool that the website is built with.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I think we've done webinars previously, and if people are interested, they can go back and look on that link there and find some of them about how to optimize their sites. And we go pretty deep into it on some of those other webinars.
Yeah.
The next question I have is, what ongoing tasks do I need to do to maintain my site once it's live?
So I mean, definitely backups. That's a huge one. So backup plugins, including like the Bluehost backup, can be scheduled. So you can like, hey, every 3 days, take a backup of my website. That was a really good point. Just in case something were to go wrong, you can always have a safe backup point. Just make sure you optimize your images. Um, Maybe there's tools like Uptime Robot that you can basically sign up for. A lot of them are free. You can connect it to your website, and It can notify you via text message, via email if your website were to go down. Um, but if you're talking about from purely just customization, which is a topic today, it really just will depend on the tool that it's built with, whether it's Elementor, whether just like look through the documentation and see what is recommended for maintenance. As far as the WordPress block editor, which what Bluehost AI use, we just recommend that you continuously updating your WordPress version, and you can actually instruct Bluehost to automatically update your WordPress version, your WordPress plugins. That's something that's, I think it's built in, or that's how it's configured on all new websites. But if you have an older website, just contact support or just go to the settings of WordPress and make sure everything is set on to auto update, just to make sure that nothing is left behind.
You beat me to it, but I was going to plug that exact same thing and say, uh, with Bluehost, we automate the updates, but that's a huge thing, especially if security is a big concern. Make sure that you have automatic updates. And if you don't have automatic updates, make sure that you're keeping all of your plugins and themes and your core files up to date, because that's where the most security vulnerabilities come from.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. Can I export the AI generated Bluehost website?
Yes, so actually you can export it using any migration tool. Let's say you want to put it somewhere else. It's anywhere that supports WordPress will digest and understand the website that's generated. There's zero dependency on anything to Bluehost. So it's just using native block editor, native tools. Take that website, put it, export it, and it should work absolutely just fine.
Cool. Awesome. Well, that brings us to the end of all of our questions so far today. I try to answer a handful in chat as well. So thank you all that participated. Thank you, Alani, for stopping by and sharing your knowledge. I really, really appreciate it. It really is a treat whenever you can stop by and join us. So thank you for that. And thank you for everyone that participated in the chat and asked questions. We really, really appreciate this. And we hope it was helpful for you as well. All right, everybody. We'll catch you next time.
See you. Thank you.